Once upon a time, there was a fairy in the big castle reading a book. Suddenly, a naughty troll knocked down the fairy's breakfast with a big bang, but the fairy didn't seem to be very happy.
Hi, I'm Mike Halen of NAPE. Today I provide information about a teaching resource which could improve children's writing in your school. What is Mighty Writer? How does it work? In fact, does it really improve children's writing and oracy? Now, one of the co-founders of this visually motivating teaching resource, Emma Ralph, joins me today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning to you too. Thank you very much for joining us at the NAPE YouTube site. And Mighty Writer is what you work with, and the inspiration which obviously led to this is something I'm really interested in. So let's start from there. What gave you the idea of Mighty Writer in the first place?
Well, my background is in teaching in primary education, particularly lower primary. And when I was working between reception year 1 and year 2, we'd used so many different resources, and there was so much for teachers to teach and so much for children to remember. And I just thought there must be an easier way to teach writing, linking in with how children learn, the steps they need to take right from those early years in order to become accomplished writers. So Mighty Writer is a product of everything I have done before and how I feel children learn in the observations that I've made and all my work with them. And the whole point of it is that they have got everything in one place. So from a teacher's point of view, it's extremely simple and easy to use. And from a child's point of view, everything makes sense and sort of builds up. So they are covering all the objectives they need to, going from, learning how to speak in sentences, right through to being quite accomplished writers across different genres.
Mighty Writer is an absolutely brilliant resource for the classroom. It can be used across the curriculum, not just English, but it's a fantastic teaching tool, especially for grammar exercises and exploring grammar in context.
I mean, judging by what's being posted on your website, the scheme is getting sort of national and international acclaim. So what sort of reviews have you been receiving? What sort of awards have you been receiving?
Well, we've won several awards for best primary resource in the country. So that's from the Education Resource Awards, the Teach Primary Awards, the Teach Early Years Awards, and the Nexus Awards.
Wow, that is quite an impressive list of awards.
I mean, we launched in 2016,
Yes.
and then we've sort of built up over time. And obviously, COVID came in amongst all that. But actually, as a result of COVID, it's meant that I now do a lot of webinars online. So I can do a lot of training for schools. So I think schools have got a lot more on board with the technology, with meeting online, and that's enabled us to reach out to more people, to train schools, and we're on hand. The training is free, it's unlimited, so people can contact us and arrange a time that suits their school. So it just makes that connection with schools and their ongoing support, if it's needed, just very easy.
If you speak to me now, I'm a teacher perhaps who has got a classroom of year ones, and I've never heard or seen or understood Mighty Writer before. How would you simply describe it to me?
Okay, so Mighty Writer is a very hands-on, practical resource that will literally meet the needs of any ability of child in your classroom. So you look at your year 1 children, the span of abilities. You might have children that are still struggling, particularly in year 1, to, connect ideas, to hold those ideas in their head, to even think of ideas in the first place, let alone write them down. But you might have some quite confident children that are already writing, quite confidently. So Mighty Writer will meet all those needs. So what you use it for is your whole class input. input, and it's very easy to differentiate within that input by what you show children on the Mighty Writer mat. And then you can use it with smaller groups and differentiate it according to exactly the needs that group needs, or even that individual child. So you can add on to the mat or take off the mat. You can model very explicitly certain genres, how they are structured, how they are physically set out, how sentences are structured. So for children who are still really needing to develop ideas, you might just be using the pictures. You might start to connect those with arrows so that children get the idea of following a sequence in order, gaining that skill of being able to recall and develop that vocabulary. And then for other children, they might be starting to use, more structured sentences. They might even be looking at conjunctions. But very quickly, children that are using this in year 1, they will understand adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and be able to use them in context. But from a teacher's point of view, who hasn't ever used this before, they don't have to plan for it. And also, you don't have to change your practice. So you can just introduce this into your classroom alongside anything else you already use, and you will see an immediate difference.
Yes, I've noticed you've got themed toolbars. That's right, toolbars. Advertised on your site as well, which is interesting, whether it's travel or some of the other themes. Have you adapted those maps for whiteboard use? Have you digitized it yet?
No, we haven't yet. Long term, that's what we want to do. But when we first started Mighty Writer, we made a decision to start with a tactile resource. A lot of schools are really supportive of that, because children do need to be very hands-on and physical, and with this they've got the option of having it on the carpet. They can actually lie across it, move things round, and for a lot of children, that whole physical touch and seeing it move before their eyes, and also it being something in the classroom that can be a permanent feature, so they've always got it to refer to and look at, and just go over and maybe consolidate things in their own mind in preparation for the next day. So there's a lot of advantages to it, but we are wanting to eventually move into a digital version, especially to support the more able writers in Key Stage 2.
Now, if a school orders Mighty Writer, now I have looked on the website, and there's lots of different ways you can order Mighty Writer, but say they're just starting off. Actually, that asks a sort of a sub-question. Do you do a sort of a cheap sample pack so the schools can actually see what they could be ordering?
What you can do is, if you're unsure, or if you think actually we're looking at our budget but we want to see what impact this is going to have first, then you can just buy just a standalone set. What we recommend is that for you to see the impact that this can have, either if you're just ordering one set, then you use that with the same group or class of children, over an extended period of time, so you can see how it relates just, for those children. Otherwise, we say to schools, you really need this in all of your reception year 1 and year 2 classes, so that every child has access to it and is making that progress.
I can totally see where you're going. But in terms of a teacher reviewing it for the very first time, they don't want a huge amount of material, 500 odd pounds, whatever it is. They just need to see a little bit of it. They can watch the videos, they can see all the stuff on the website, and perhaps that's been done on purpose, because what you don't want perhaps is a sort of sale and return cycle going on within the company. So is that the intention, really? Teachers need to look at the website, look at the videos, try and understand, go on the free webinars, of course, and from that, then they feel more confident to order a class set rather than a one-off order. Is that where you're coming from?
Yeah, exactly. And then some schools, they might have a member of their senior leadership team that comes on maybe a general webinar. And so they've heard about it. They think, actually, this is something that could really, support the children in our school. They might be using other things, but they see how it could have an impact. And then sometimes before they buy, I might then do a whole school staff meeting so that everybody can see it, and people very quickly get an idea. and do make a decision on the webinar, thinking actually, yes, we can see how this could be used. And that's always worked. And then they then do see the effect in their own school.
So effectively, the class, that class or staff meeting, sorry, could then be turned into a sort of webinar meeting with a representative from your company.
Yes, yes.
That's the way I see it. So if I was doing an order for this school, £495, what do you actually get for that?
So everything you see behind me, you get. So that you get you get the main mat, you get the hooks to hang it up, you get all the images, all the symbols and everything around the edges, and it all comes in a large ski bag. So it's very easy to roll up and store. It does have a non-slip backing so that you can put it on the floor. So it is robust, but it's also very lightweight. So, you can move it around easily, or equally just, roll it back up. But the only additions you need, if you wanted to, is, as you said previously, the color-coded additional image toolbars, because they're linked to topics that teachers tend to cover in early years and Key Stage 1.
The material, it looks quite fluffy. Is that being done purposely for is it Velcro like fixing?
It's just Velcro. It actually has a very smooth feel to it, but it's very hard wearing. So no matter how many times you move the images around, it doesn't pull it up. It stays as it is.
Yeah, does it come in a box or something? It can be stored.
The Mighty Writer mat comes in the ski bag rolled up, and all the tiles around the edge, they come in separate boxes. And then there's videos on the website which actually in detail explain to you how you can put the mat together and where everything goes. So it's all step-by-step instructions. Because before COVID, before we did the webinars, what we did was we did a series of videos on the website so that for teachers, it would be extremely easy to set up and disseminate. And they're like 4-minute, 5-minute videos that were designed to be able to be shown in one staff meeting so that everybody had a really good idea and could get going. Yeah.
You said ski bag? Did I hear you?
Yeah, it's like a long ski bag.
I mean, my question, I suppose, about running webinars, you've sort of answered. I mean, the core areas you address within that advice. What are the core areas that you tend to address or get asked about in the webinars?
Well, the main areas I address are basically what Mighty Writer is, because some people that come onto the webinars have already been on the website. They might have done quite a lot of research. They might have heard about it from other schools. That they might be the literacy lead and they're focusing on writing, and they've been in talks with other schools that are already using this successfully. Some people come onto the webinar and they have literally seen it advertised on Facebook or Twitter, and they're just interested to know more. So I introduce what it is, and then I explain everything on it and why everything is there, and then how you build up the use of it. So with children who are literally non-verbal, or children who are just developing that vocabulary, and then right through to your most able writers at the end of year 2. I then explain how you sort of build it up, and then how teachers can use it in the classroom on a daily basis. Questions obviously usually include the costings, how many they would need in a school, and I just answer those questions and then follow that up with an email, and then people might get back to me, depending on what training they would like.
Great. In these webinars, do you tend to share a web page, or is it just a straight delivery and answering questions?
It's just a straight delivery and answering questions, and I do refer people to the website so they can look in their own time, what interests them.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. You can see pricing. There's lots of different pricing on the website. So I do urge viewers to actually go to the Mighty Writer website, link below, for you to see what the pricing options are. And I suspect you're pretty mightily busy. So in terms of discounts, I have noticed a few discounts. How does that work?
The discount, so you can either buy Mighty Writer outright, or you can pay monthly. So schools can choose whatever fits in with their budget or how they would like to work. For
Yes.
both options, the more sets you buy, the greater the discount.
Right.
When you pay monthly, for every set that you have, every year you get 4 free additional toolbars. So that's the color-coded themed toolbars.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Which look really useful, I must say, and I'll put some examples on the screen as well. Obviously, if schools want to find out more, they do need to A, go on the website, B, sign in for the webinars, and I think that's very important. Is there anything else you wish to add, Emma?
I think just the main thing with Mighty Writer is that we have set out because we genuinely want to make a difference to children's love of, enjoyment of writing and their ability to write. Because so many children, you know, even from their earliest time in school, view writing as something that they are going to find difficult, or that something that other children can do and they can't. Lots of children don't come into school equipped, ready to learn. You know, they might not have that vocabulary. So it's just, you know, we've set out to make it so easy for children that they learn to write practically without even realizing it. They are just immersed in language, but they enjoy every minute. And from a teacher's point of view, they're seeing that. And also, you know, as teachers, they're so busy, you've got so much going on, but actually this does make teaching writing very simple, but children make very rapid progress.
I love Mighty Writer. I had it into my school in year 1, and what is particularly good about it is the engagement that children take from it. The fact that it's physical, there are pictures, and yet those pictures and symbols give them a structured sentence and an expanded sentence as they continue to work on it. That's what the value is. Even for those children that struggle to access writing, learning, and not interested and not motivated, this has been a fantastic motivator at all levels.
Mighty Writer last year for everybody from primary 1 to 3, and primary 4, 5, 6, 7 all stole it as well. Our autism resource stole it. Everybody's loved it. It really engaged the children in writing. Kids who were previously switched off to writing loved it. We noticed an improvement in sentence structure. We noticed an improvement in the vocabulary that we're using, and it's been an absolute revelation. We've absolutely loved it, and I can't recommend Mighty Writer highly enough.
Of course, schools are now obsessed with standards and facts and figures and statistics.
Yeah.
Have the schools furnished to you any evidence that Mighty Writer has pushed up their standards in literacy, for instance?
Yeah, so lots of teachers will give us sort of verbal feedback on the immediate impact it's had, or just generally over time. We were in a lot of schools in Scotland, and we've actually had specific feedback about, I think it was 70-something% improvement in their standards. So, you know, it is having an immediate impact, really.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear, because at the end of the day, you know, we are accountable to our kids, to parents, and notwithstanding the government and Ofsted. Emma, thank you. Unless you've got anything else to add, can I?
I don't think so.
Thank you on behalf of our NAPE members and anybody watching this. A very, very big thank you for today. And can I urge everybody to have a look at the website, and they can make their own opinions from it, particularly if they feel that the children are still struggling despite the teaching they're doing with their existing resources. Emma, thank you very much indeed. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you very much.